Hello and welcome to the Chrome Zone. I'm Lynn. There's a heck of a lot going on in the sky at the moment, and today we're right on top of the Uranus Jupiter conjunction, about which there's been quite a lot of hype. It can become overwhelming. I think with the full moon, I should say, on the 21st, that's following this conjunction, there are so many strands of narrative there it can become very confusing. So, what I'm doing today is I'm picking out these simple threads and I'm turning to what I always turn to when things become too complicated, and that for me is the Enchanted Picture Book of the Tarot. I have selected cards that represent some of the forces that are activating us at the moment. And I find that looking into these cards gives me a really gut level insight into what's happening. Otherwise, it can just be all in the head and rather, into overwhelm. So I'm going to look at five cards, two of which are the main players, and that is Uranus, which we would associate with the Fool card in the tarot, and Mars, which we would associate with the Tower card in the tarot. So there's been quite a lot of hype about the Mars Uranus conjunction as being an explosive energy, a very electrical energy, and a revolution earthquake type energy. And, all those things remain possibilities, don't they? But I would like to explore its meaning for us, for our lives, for how this might be manifesting, how we might be experiencing this in our own life. And I've called this video Piercing the Veil because I think that's what a potential of what's happening here. It's, to me, not right to see this lightning strike of Uranus, this piercing moment, this energy of Mars there, as something that sparks Frankenstein's monster. In the old film where the lightning comes and Victor Frankenstein's creature is born. Well, that's not the way I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it much more Sistine Chapel, finger of God coming down to the finger of Adam, which is limping a bit, and a spark flying between. So a divine intervention. That's the way I choose to see it. So let's look first at the Tower card, the Mars card. And you see here that the Tower has been struck by lightning, and in particular, its crown has been struck. So this may symbolize the structures that the ego has held on to, and we all have them, The tower itself can be seen as an egoic structure. And there's been a sense of imprisonment in this tower. There's no door, there's just one little window. And we can see that the people falling from the tower are too large for it. Here's a key message. When things are pierced, when things are brought home for us, when, if you like, we're shocked awake, and that may be a moment of illumination, it may be an epiphany, it doesn't have to be some dreadful event. But when we wake up, we can discover that actually what we've been holding on to wasn't really best for us anyway. Do look at all of these golden yodes of God that are falling down from the dark sky there. The lightning also, Uranus is very much a god of lightning. So Uranus teaming up here with Mars in this conjunction is really saying this is this moment of illumination. This is this moment of wake up, wake up. Uranus is known as the great awakener, and it can be this function that it's serving inside of us. I'd also like to say that it's not just about ego, and I'm not knocking ego. I think ego gets knocked far too much, and everybody acts like ego is some sort of dreadful villain. And really, ego is how we get by in the world, and it's a splendid thing as long as it's in service to spirit. If it thinks it's running the show, then that can be a problem, I guess. And we can all fall into that sleep of believing that the ego is all that there is. And of course, the ego, as I said in a previous video, doesn't like change, likes to stay as this set structure, little bit like this. Okay, so there could be things coming through, breaking through, liberating. I think Uranus is a liberator, a great liberator. Where sometimes we want a comfort zone, we don't want to be liberated. So, what is the veil that may be being pierced? Well, we've said it could be things that the ego's held on to, but something much more than that as well, because our conscious mind is but a tiny proportion of what actually exists in the totality of ourself, much of which lies below consciousness, in shadow. Not to say it's bad. That's not the case. It's simply we don't see our own backs. It's in shadow because we can't see it. And as I've said before, when we're able to see something that's been in shadow, then we're able to process it and integrate it and grow. But we can't grow if we can't see. So it may be that Uranus and Mars pierce something of that veil of the unconscious. Now, in there can be things from far back, it can be from previous lives, it can even be ancestral things coming down our ancestral line that we carry. It can be things and events we're not even conscious of in our current life that are there. It can be programming, it can be things from social inculcation, be a whole host of things that we don't know about. And so this could be a moment of bringing that into the light, putting the flashlight on it, illuminating it, so we see it. Now, that can feel a little bit shocking. That can be surprising. It can be the aha moment. Now I understand. Now I understand this complex that I've had for years that's driven me in this way. I get it now. I understand me better now at a deeper level. So this is the gift that Uranus can bring. But of course, it can feel a little bit unsettling. And the Fool is right here on the edge of a cliff, right poised on the end of the cliff. But his message to us is have faith. His message to us is your spirit is always safe. And you are simply freeing and liberating it by understanding more of it. So I think that ultimately this is very much for our benefit, but in the short term, it could seem unsettling. It could seem a little startling, perhaps. Perhaps not. Perhaps there's this wonderful moment of seeing, of knowing. There can be, can't there, a great joy in the aha, I get it now. That can be a wonderful point in our lives. And almost instantly you can feel yourself grow, expand like a plant that's been repotted. You've got more space, you're more spacious, you understand more. So it can be, disconcerting, discombobulating process, but one very much for our soul's benefit and growth. Okay, so cue sinister music. And that's because Uranus and Mars are conjunct. Well, it's in the same that sort of line of the sky as them, but some distance from them. But they're getting energy from a star called Algol, which has some pretty bad press, seen as something of a dark star, Algol. Now, I'm very interested in this star. It's known as the Eye of Medusa. And also, I think that in Hebrew traditions, it's also known as Lilith. Now, I've already spoken about Lilith, I think, and I hope I have anyway. If not, I'm sure I'm going to. But let's look at Lilith. Lilith, first wife of Adam, exiled, turned into a demon because she refused to be secondary, she refused to be beneath Adam, she refused to be lesser than. So cast out as a demonic energy, this demonic female, push it out there, it's not wanted. So let's look at Medusa. So Medusa was a temple priestess, very beautiful. She incited the envy of Athena. Now, Athena is a very cerebral goddess. She sprang whole from the forehead of Zeus, and she uh, relegated Medusa. She created her into a monster. She had a monstrous form, snakes in her hair, and the idea that if you looked into the eyes of Medusa, you would turn to stone. So, again, a complete demonization of a female energy. It cast it out there. Now, by out there, into the dark where Algol is, I also think we mean into the shadow. Now, the card that I've picked for Algol and the shadow is the devil card. Not because I personally believe that Algol is some evil force, I don't. But I think that this is about shadow casting. This is about scapegoating. This is about outing, vilifying. All the badness is over there. Let's shove it all into that dark star, that dark bogeyman's cupboard, and leave it there to fester. So I wonder if that is another energy that is being released here. So, this return, if you like, of the exiled, demonized feminine, the dark feminine, the feminine that's been put into the dark. I don't mean by dark it's sinister, I mean it's rejected. And it may be rejected inside us. Be we males or females, these energies are within. And this is an exiled, pushed away force that very much needs to come back into the light and be recognized and embraced. That is important. And I'm going to be doing some videos for the Venus Moon Gates that I'm very much looking forward to. But thinking again about Venus, and she really does play a part at the moment because she is now out of the underworld. Venus is in the light, and she's come into the light in the sign of Leo, with strength, with the lion energy, and a beautiful blending because Leo obviously is a male energy and Venus is a female energy. So a beautiful blending of male and female there. A harmonious blending. I've spoken previously about the alchemy of this particular card. Won't repeat that again, but I have. And so the card that Again, very appropriately, these sunflowers behind me were a gift, and they've come at exactly the time. I had them in last time I spoke about the Queen of Wands with her sunflowers, and what I consider to be her wonderful Leonine energy there with the cat, a very confident, quite strong masculine type woman here, this very confident energy. So this is the face of Venus at this particular moment, and also the Venus that we shall have when we get to the full moon on the 21st. And she is forming harmonious aspects with these key players here at that full moon, and softening and bringing in another energy. The Mars and Uranus are very male energies, and here we have Venus blending the male and the female energies, doing some alchemy there and blending healing there. This full moon coming up, I'm afraid I'm going on holiday, so I won't be doing a full video just dedicated to it, but it is a hinge in the year. It's certainly a hinge in the month of July, a very different energy after it to the energy before. It is a time of endings and new beginnings, and I think they've been seeded by this conjunction. The male energy plants the seed. The female energy grows it. The female energy creates. The female energy brings it into being, manifests it, if you like. So hopefully we'll see here some restoration of these outlawed aspects of the feminine being able to come into the light. We may also see revelations in our world, events in our world. We may be looking back and winding up what's gone before. We may feel like we are flushing out for one final time, evaluating, and then moving forward. But not enough time here for me to say too much about the moon. And also, I don't want to over-egg the pudding by, bringing in too many things into one video, because I think that can get a little bit overwhelming and confusing. So I see potential, of course. Isn't it believed that it was lightning strike on sort of cells in water, which probably helped spark life? And I feel that this Uranus Mars can also spark us spiritually and move us on. So I wish you all the very best, and I hope that you have a safe, illuminating time at this very important point in the year. So I will leave you with that, and probably the next video I do will be the post for the Venus Gate, which will actually be on the 6th of August, not the 5th, it's the 6th, but I'll be posting ahead of time anyway. So bye-bye for now, take care, and see you in the next one. Thanks for being with me.